All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Lauren Fisher of Ray Psych Wellness, and I am so excited to interview my business partner here to hear all about her new podcast. Dr. Eleni Boosalis has decided to follow her dreams and launch a podcast, which is already posted, but really launching this next week. So I'm going to ask her a few questions so you can hear all about it. So welcome, Dr. Boosalis.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher.
Well, congratulations on the launch of your podcast. And the name of that is Why Does This Keep Happening to Me, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so tell us, what is this podcast all about?
So I decided to name it Why Does This Keep Happening to Me? Because that was the question that I hear over and over again, not only in therapy with my therapy clients, but personally, interpersonally. People just always finding themselves stuck in patterns, in unhealthy patterns, not knowing how to get out and not knowing, like, the one thing that keeps coming up for people is I'm stuck, whether that means in a relationship, in a career, in friendship, in anything it is, a marriage, just I'm stuck and I can't get past this. So I wanted a podcast that addresses that, but from all different perspectives, in terms of choices we make, the relationships we keep, and how subconsciously we keep recreating these patterns, and how to help people get out of those patterns and break those patterns. So that was my hope, is that other people can share their stories and help people get out of those patterns.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I think that most of us are very familiar with repeating the same pattern over and over. And sometimes those are good patterns, sometimes they're not. So I love this concept. And I love stories. Stories heal people. So can you give us an example of a few of the podcasts you've done, of the type of guests you have?
Yeah, sure. So the thing that I love about this podcast is that it is, like you said, their personal stories. And so there are personal conversations that people share of their experience of when they became unstuck, how they broke out of their patterns. So, for example, I did one on a lady who came out of a situation where she was with domestic violence, how she came to that point that she was able to change that. And of another friend of mine who has been 18 years sober, sharing her story of sobriety. Another person, this was actually a really fun one we did, recovering drama queens. So we talked about, actually, I shared my personal story, and a lot of these I share my personal stories as well, of how we broke this pattern of having this drama and just chaos in our lives, and how this person I was interviewing, who was one of our therapists, how we came to the realization that we were actually creating that in our life, and how we decided to stop creating that in our life. And so, all of these stories that people share, I hope that people, a person that is listening, can relate to and say, oh yeah, I know about that. I've been there before. And that it would be an inspiration, like inspiring stories to help people that maybe resonates with them and helps them come out of their pattern of stuckness.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I really love that. I love that you're contributing like your own personal like insights and sharing. And stories like heal people, because I think when you share them, it gives us, like, a lot of people the permission to start sharing their vulnerabilities. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your stories. I know some of your guests, and it's a star lineup, and I know you're excited about it and you have a lot of passion. So this is going to be fantastic, in my opinion. So where, like, two more questions before we go. One, like, if you had to say, like, what's your overall hope or intention for this podcast?
So I think that two things. One is, which is one of the missions of our practice, is to destigmatize mental illness, symptoms that we experience, anxiety, depression, just inner turmoil, conflict, all of the things that we all go through as humans, and to just destigmatize that and to just have people feel connected and to understand that they're not alone, that they can see themselves in other people's stories.
Mhm.
And the second part, I think, is inspiration.
Mm.
So I want this to be something that is inspiring for people so that they come out of it feeling good, because there's so much that is creating anxiety right now in our environment. And that, even in social media and podcasts, on TV. And so I want this to be a short, something that some people can go to, and it's usually about 30 minutes long, so it's not a huge time investment, that at the end of that 30 minutes you can feel inspired.
Okay, fantastic. And where can we find your podcast?
So it is on iTunes, Spotify, and you can also find it on our website, delraypsych.com. Eventually it'll be on YouTube, so we're still working on that part.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We are really looking forward to you sharing your gifts with the world. And for those of you who start tuning in, we'd love comments on the on our podcast, and hopefully you'll follow and subscribe as new editions continue to come out over the next few weeks and months. And of course, if you are inspired, share that with your friends as well. All right. Thank you, Dr. Boosalis.
Thank you.